He had pinkies up.
Oh. Okay. It's recording. So.
Oh, she's got a cute one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Serve Brew. My name is Tori, and we're just having a coffee break. I got two of my friends here in Nicole Carr. What's up?
Hey.
Hey. So I like this, having coffee with you guys. I never get to hang out, so this is awesome. We're always busy doing stuff. So, welcome. And I just wanted to, I asked y'all to do this because I love you. And also, I think that you guys are doing something incredible that is a great example to people who have a dream in their heart and who have been committed to the local church and the process and everything like that. And God just blessed it like crazy. So first of all, will you just take a minute and tell me, what is the Just People Project? How did it start? What was the little beginnings of it?
Well, it's a project. Just stop people. We're offliners. We started with with another church out of Pleasant Grove Nazarene. We ended up growing that through social media, and it got so big that we just ended up having to kind of start it on our own, which was a huge step for us. We were really scared, and as soon as we stepped out in faith, you guys called us at the Dream Center and wanted to eat lunch with us. And as soon as the first time I went to serve the homeless, the Just People Project is a homeless outreach, but it's just about people now. We want to grow it into more than just the homeless. It's just about people just in general. But as soon as the first time I went and served, I knew as soon as I got finished serving, which I was behind a table, I stepped out from behind the table and I realized that was my calling. And I got in trouble a lot for not not doing what I was supposed to as far as serving, because I would always talk to all the guys and stuff. And I just knew that was when that first time I knew that was my purpose for the first time in my whole life. It was amazing.
I failed to mention, you guys are local, so I know you guys from being at the Dream Center and stuff, but the way that we found y'all, Pastor Jamil, our campus pastor at the Dream Center, found you guys on social media. We saw what you're doing through your stories, and I fell in love with it because I was like, wow, there's stories of different guys. You had that whole Humans of New York vibe. What's that guy's name? What's his story? Where'd he come from? What's he doing? Yeah. And it was there was just this amazing wonder about it. But going back, it's you started with, you have your own story that built up to this point. And I don't know, Nicole, I want to hear about your experience of it, because I know you said that wasn't your heartbeat at first. Yeah. But you fell in love with it, and then it just grew into this wonderful thing. So what was your experience of this whole project?
When he said something about going the first time, I thought he was crazy. Because I was not on board. I really didn't want to go. I'd worked downtown Birmingham and had walked through the park for lunch, and kind of had the effect, people coming up to you asking for money and food, and if you didn't have anything, they would say ugly things to you. So that was my I guess when I thought about homeless, that's what I thought about, somebody being rude because I didn't give them money or I didn't give them whatever I had. And then when he was like, we're going as a family, we're going with this church. And I was like, fine. So we go and get prepared, and that was fun because you got to hang out with everybody because they do it a little different than what we do. They got stuff together, so we got to hang out with everybody and kind of meet a few folks. And then that Sunday we went, and when I was standing behind the table, I didn't realize how many people were homeless. You don't really realize it until you get out there. And when I was behind the table, I couldn't even hand anybody stuff because I was crying like a baby, like sobbing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what in the world? What is going on with me? Why am I crying like a baby? But it just tugged at my heart, and we haven't stopped. Like that. I don't think we've ever, I don't even know if I've ever missed one time like he has when he had back surgery. And April and I led it. And that was, yeah, he was there in spirit. But I don't think we've ever really missed a serve. That's something we try our best to do as a family. You know, Colby, we try to get Colby to go with us every single time if he doesn't have to work or whatever. But we try to do it as a family so that we can all be together and do something and help as many people as we can.
I love that y'all do it as a family, and like how you, Chris, you lead your family in that, and it's like God's just blessing it so much. It's like it draws other families to it. Like, wow, they can. Yeah. Cool. And one of the things that like strikes me so cool about you guys is how it's not like here's this structured plan, like we're gonna go out and these are the steps of what we're gonna do. You guys just say we're a bunch of friends and we're gonna go find people where they are, and you guys just give an opportunity for people to build relationships however they want. So like I love just to kind of snapshot what it looks like, because I don't know if I've encompassed that for our viewers, but basically the Just People Project is a small group of Church of the Highlands and a lot of other things, but it falls under that covering. And so we model it. You guys meet semi-weekly, pretty much, go out into different parks, pretty much Lynn Park or other places, and set up, do giveaways for people, and it spirals from that park experience. You guys are building relationships and other needs, or giving people rides, helping people get teeth, like cool stuff is coming out of it. But you aren't the only ones who are going deeper into people's lives. Like y'all are building relationships so that other people can say, oh wow, that's my friend, let me help them out. So I love that picture, and I love that it just fosters a platform for people to fall in love with Jesus through his people. Yeah. So, I'm trying to figure out which way do I want to go in the conversation. Let's talk about first how it is part of the church, and then I want to hear some of the specifics about like the stories and how God has like taken one event and led it to another. So first of all, with it being part of the church, it's also now its own 501c3, right?
Yes.
So can you tell me about that journey? Like, what does it look like as a small group under the church, but also this thing, and it's growing, it's turned into, I love how it started as a small group and it's turned into a ministry. Like that is such a cool story. And we tell people who start small groups all the time, like, you never know where God could take this. And look, y'all have multiple groups coming out of it. So just tell me that journey and how you see it.
Well, it started, we, in August of 2015, I actually, started my Instagram account, The Homeless in Birmingham. And from there, I just started getting followers, and people I kind of post, like you said, I post a picture of the guy and their story and maybe a need. And God has just always just blessed it. I mean, from the get-go, it's just like we don't even want. It's like sometimes before I put stuff out there for somebody, I'll get a message saying we have so-and-so for this, and it's exactly what the person needed. So got started doing that, and met a guy from Mobile or Montgomery named John Fry, and he was living in Tuscaloosa, and he found us on Instagram, and it just morphed from that. I mean, he got people in Tuscaloosa involved, got Miss Darlene from Louisiana involved. She sends us stuff all the time, 3 packages a week. And it just kind of, we were going to start doing the 501c3 about a year ago. And I just didn't feel like it was what we were supposed to do. I just felt like it wasn't time yet. And, God just started a small group, and we started at River Chase and had one semester there. And we had people that, like April and Jessica, that came from the other church with us and to start it. And it just kind of, we had like a big serve, and a lot of people from River Chase joined us. And then that small group ended. And of course, we do this year round. We don't do it just as semesters as a small group, but we ended up taking a lot of those people over with us, and then got connected with you guys. And I had a friend call me and tell me that someone from Highlands did free 501c3s, and for me to get in touch with them. So I ended up praying about that for probably 3 months, and ended up calling the guy. He said, well, call me. I'll call you back in a week. And he told me the price and everything. And I was like, that was supposed to be free, because that's what my friend told me. And that night on the way home, I was praying. I was like, Lord, if I had this money, I would do this. Lord, if I had this money, I'd do that. And a friend from where I used to live sent us a letter. And I got home from work, and Nicole was like, you need to read this letter. And I was like, I'll take a shower. And she's like, no, you need to read it now. And it was a letter from her saying how she was scared of homeless people, but she got to live out her fears through our Instagram and Facebook. And it was a check. It was a letter and a check for $2,000. And she said, do whatever you want to with your ministry. And so the lawyer calls me back Thursday and tells me how much it was and everything. And I was pretty bummed out, because it was pretty much close to what the money I got. And I felt like that was like homeless money. And ended up calling my friend back, and just kind of, because I planned on using that money for the 501c3. And I ended up calling him just for some guidance. And he's like, Chris, I told you that was, he's like, what'd the lawyer say? And I was like, it's $1,500. And he said, no, I told you it was free. And I was like, no, but he said it was $1,500. And he's like, I told you it was free. And I said, no, but it was, he said. And he's like, Chris, I'm paying for it. So he said, just use that other money to bless your ministry. So God, I told Nicole when we first started, I was like, God's going to put people in our life that we're not going to have to come out of pocket for this. We have fairly decent jobs, but we're not rich by any means. And this stuff does cost money. And but God has just provided every way, in every aspect of this ministry. He provides.
I love how it brings people together. Like you said, this woman had money. She wasn't ready to be directly involved, but she was able to make a difference because you guys provided that platform.
Yeah.
People have resources, or whatever people have. I feel like you guys have done such an amazing job of crafting an opportunity for people to jump in whatever they have to give. Like my husband he'll do house repair work, and you guys always have, like, there's something going on he can be part of. And for me, like, I don't know what I do, but I was able to jump in and be like, okay, let's bring some games to the park, like whatever. There's a way for everybody to be part of it, and you'll do such a good job with that. So tell me some of your favorite, like, stories from your experience. Like, I love the one about how you gave a dog away.
Yeah.
And that was so cool. And then there's so many, fishing, like, you have a story about everywhere in the world. So just give me one of your favorites.
One of my favorites. I'll give you two of my favorites. One of them, this was like right when we were still with Pleasant Grove Nazarene, and Colby, our son, was out with us, and I just met Jim, Jim is one of my favorites, and we actually bought him a set of teeth too, so this story kind of collides. But first time I met him, he's crying, so he's cold. It's so cold out, and I still had some stuff left over in the back of my car, and I lifted the trunk, and he was like, man, I like that pillow. And it was a pillow that Colby had made with his grandmother, with Nicole's mother that had passed away. And I was like, well, no, that's my son's. He's like, hey, he's hitting around that he wanted the pillow. I was like, no, that's my son's. And I kind of told him a story. I was like, he made it for me. I knew he wasn't going to part with it. So he's like, oh, okay, that's okay. Well, then I took Jim to introduce him to my family. And he's like, man, I like that pillow. Told Colby, he's like, I like that pillow. And Colby was like, you want it? And it just like, I was like, it broke my heart. And I have pictures of it and everything. He was stuffing that pillow in that bag. That's one of my favorite stories right there, is just seeing my son have the same heart that I have, just from being obedient to my calling. And I mean, as a person, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be with homeless people. It can be for just people. I mean, in general, opening the door or whatever. I mean, but ended up just starting a relationship with Jim right there. And that's when I started really emphasizing on remembering people's names, because I'm terrible with names. I meet people from high school and I have to say, this is my wife, Nicole, and walk off because I don't remember their name. But I remember homeless people's names. I mean, I make it a point to remember somebody, because it makes me feel good to remember for someone to remember my name that I've only met once. So I always make it a point, and that's really why I put that on Instagram and hashtag it Jim or whatever, because it seems like the hashtag deal is the most important thing on the post, and to me, the person is the most important thing. So hashtag Jim or hashtag Ronnie or hashtag whatever, whose ever name it is going to get a hashtag, because that's the most important thing, is the people. So that was an awesome one. And then I met a guy at Bibb Correctional Facility at one of the life retreats, and his name was JoJo, and ended up seeing him out on the outside, but I also saw him on the Highlands video, and which he'll tell you he was on that video and he's famous and all this stuff. But ended up seeing him at Lynn Park, and he was like, when we going fishing? I was like, when do you want to go fishing? And I ended up getting his number, and I had Fridays off during the summer, and me and my son Colby and a few other kids took him fishing, and he caught his first fish. It was a little brim about this big. But I mean, he was so tickled, and I mean, that was just awesome for me. And we've also got our friend Ronnie that really is a big part of where the reason why we are where we are right now. I mean, he's almost famous pretty much because of Instagram. Everybody knows him. He can't go anywhere without getting a picture and getting people to send it to me. And he just really dear to our heart. Basically, we basically adopted a 60-year-old man and brought him in our home and just loved on him. And the main thing that we try to do is connect people with Jesus, because that's where change starts. And if I hadn't have been connected with Jesus, there would be no Just People project. I mean, there just wouldn't. So that's the main thing. And I mean, if we can go further with that by getting somebody a home or getting them an apartment or getting them teeth or whatever, that's what we want to do. But our main focus is to get them plugged in with Jesus, because that's the key to freedom.
I could listen to these stories for days. Like, I need you to write a book. I really do. We need like a coffee table book with a flip.
Yeah, he could probably write one. Oh my gosh.
I've got one.
Why is this not patented and sold in Barnes & Noble? Okay. What I love about, I was just sitting here thinking, like, you guys have it's so refreshing, almost countercultural way of living. Like, these days, people are like, what is the process? Here are the 5 steps of this and that. Here's how we're going to do it. And you guys are so refreshing in that you set out to be the servants first. And like my own philosophy, I always try to replace the word leadership with servanthood, because that's how Jesus talks about, like, the greatest among you is a servant. If you want to lead, you have to serve. And you guys are the ones who are directly doing it. And a lot of people might argue like leaders shouldn't do. And I get that there's a place where you have to step back and let your people have the experience, but I think that it's cool that you guys don't compromise your own experience either. Like, you're looking people directly in the eyes and you're seeing Jesus and you're getting their stories. And because of what you're exemplifying, it's pure. You love it. God's drawing you to do it. And so because of that, people see it and they want the same experience. So now you've got people like Caitlin and Brandon who are now, I watched them like fall in love with this individual named LD at the Dream Center, and they found out he wanted to ride a motorcycle, and they got him this whole experience because they found someone who had a motorcycle. They took their relationships, gave him an experience, built a relationship, and then he got baptized a couple weeks ago. He's been wearing his baptized t-shirt for like 3 weeks straight. I think that was his last bath, which is great. We love it. But I think it's just so refreshing that you guys show like you can have your hands involved directly and still be, if not be the best kind of leaders out there. So love that.
Brandon and Caitlin got today or this week or last week and this week, they sent a lady to Tallahassee on a bus.
Oh my goodness.
Paid for it to the Just People Project, and then they yesterday they got a guy in Jimmy Hill, Michigan.
Wow!
So they are just awesome.
So cool. And you, like, what did you do to raise them up as leaders besides showing them how it is?
Just called them and asked them if they wanted to do it.
Okay.
Caitlin's got such, like Chris always says, he's like, she's so tiny but has this big old heart. I don't know how she walks around with her big heart.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, and we love both of them, and they, from the beginning when they started helping, you could just definitely tell that they were kind of wanting to do it on their own, but kind of were, I guess, shy about it. But you know, when you meet people who would be perfect, you know, you just know. And we knew with them that they would be perfect doing it on their own when they were ready.
Yeah, they are. They were vetted. They're not kidding. Yeah. But they, oh my gosh, it's amazing. But it's just cool how they mirror what you guys are doing. And I just love that you're just enabling people to have their dreams come true. So, what were you going to say, Chris?
Well, other than you know, just getting to know the guys and getting to
and girls
and ladies at the parks and stuff. That's probably one of the most fulfilling parts of it is getting to see like Matthew and Nicole start their group, and then Caitlin and Brandon start their group, and then you know all the leaders that are still involved in ours that you know that just want to be. I mean, if we was to walk away right now, we could find, you know, other leaders like April, Corey, Grant, Jessica. I mean, there's so many people. I don't want to leave anybody out because I know that there's so many leaders that would just take this and just go with it if we was to ever walk away. And that's what's so cool was like, I didn't know I was a leader until someone said, "Hey, lead," you know, or will you lead with me? You know, so I was a mental midget for years. I'm serious. I was. I didn't think I was good enough, and that was the lie that I believed for years and years. And until we got plugged in with Church of the Islands, I never knew that I could be a leader. I mean, it was just crazy that I even thought that. But I mean, that's the journey God takes you on is finding your leadership skills and just. I've always known that I was a people person, but didn't know that I could actually love people the way I do. And really we started out with this called the Homeless in Birmingham small group, and kind of wanted to step away from just the homeless. And I was praying, I was asking what was a name that wasn't generic for what Jesus was all about, you know. And I'm not saying hope and faith and love and all that's generic, but it's a term used all the time for Jesus, you know. And he said people, and I was like, and that's when I came up with the Just People Project, because I mean we're all. I think I've said it before. I'm a carpenter, and everything's a project to me. And I've heard it said people aren't projects, but I have to differ, because God started on me, and it took years to get me to where I am right now. And if that wasn't a project, I don't know what was, because it took a lot. It took a lot to get me where I am. I can't.
It's a good thing. It's not negative. It can be beautiful. Masterpiece is a project.
I can't hear you.
You just have to listen. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah,
can hear you now.
it was just low.
I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know what I'm saying. Red stare.
What did you say?
I'm saying it's cool how people, like a project, we think of it as negative these days, but it's not. Like a masterpiece is an art project. It's a
Yeah.
So it is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's simple, like just people. I have a tattoo of people on my hand. Like that is why we're on earth. That's what we do. So I love that it's not just one category, and it's not labeling people on their experience. I'm just a person. I'm going through stuff. It was awesome. So what would you say is like you've been through this amazing process of being part of a church, being totally empowered that you're a leader, small group change to 501c3 to ministry within it, all this cool stuff. What would you say is like your dream for the future? Like, you don't have to have like the specific one, but if we were dreaming big, what would it be?
Oh, he dreams real big.
If I was dreaming big, I would want to have like a place where the guys could come and or girls, whatever, and learn a trade. Like I've worked several different places, and if you can do something with your hands, most of the time you will not go without work. And if these guys could learn a trade besides being on the street and hustling, I mean, I've done it all. I've hustled and did all of it. And my hands have never, we've never went without because of my hands. And I would just love to have somewhere they could come in and get a Bible lesson in the morning, and then have some guys come over and teach plumbing or carpentry or what, just a segment a day, you know, and just let the guys hang out and learn something. I mean, because like I said, you can't take a trade away from someone. So that would be my big dream, is to just have somewhere for them to learn a trade.
Be careful what you say. When anytime Chris Carr goes public with a dream, it has to be that.
So if anybody listening has a building they want to donate, just give me a call.
The other day I was at Christian Service Mission here in Birmingham, and they're doing they have a woodworking shop where they teach skills, and they're building these beautiful coat racks and all this stuff, and they have greenhouses, and it's this whole hydroponics deal. They teach special needs kids and anybody. They teach adults, kids all the way up, and they have a fish farm. So we got to get you connected to them.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm all about this dream. I want to be part of it. I don't know I can't teach anything, but
well, I'm right there with you, so
getting cookies, okay? The coffee. Yeah. So what would you guys say to someone who is maybe in your shoes before this started? They're not, take it. Someone who has kind of an inkling in their heart of God stirring something in me. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what step to take, but I know I'm supposed to do something. What would you say to that person?
Do it.
Okay.
Pray about it and do it.
Yeah, just get out there and I don't know. I believe God puts people in place to to bring that calling out. There's somebody, if you're looking for something, there's somebody in your life right now that can connect you to it. I just believe that. So there's somebody there to connect the dots. You just got to be looking and obedient. Mine started with doing a life group at the Foundry. I had never once prayed for anybody besides when stuff was going wrong in our lives. I never like put my hands on somebody and like prayed for somebody and like that. But I never prayed for anyone. And the first night at our small group, Chris White's like, after small group, we're going to pray for people, and the leaders are going to do it. And I was like, I freaked out. I was like, I can't do this. And then I prayed for this guy, and here this grown man is crying in my arms, and I'm thinking I could do this. And then the next thing I know, I'm on the prayer team at a life retreat, and I never thought I would be able to do that. Never. So I just really feel like that if you're obedient and just my thing was I'm kind of like a yes man. Like anybody asks me to do anything, I'm just a yes man, and if I don't like it, I won't do it again. If I do like it, then it's on. And that's kind of the way this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man. Sometimes.
He's always like, yes. I'm like, you're gonna have to stop saying yes to everything.
Don't ask me to cut your grass.
Yes, man. That's a cool concept. Like the whole make the most of take every opportunity to do good. That's a very maybe. I love that. Just like asking God to show you what it is and just try it. If you fail, you fail. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, I prayed for God after the life group. I asked God to use me, and oh my goodness, you better be ready if you mean it with all your heart. And then I started praying that God would fund my heart, and you better be ready for that too, because obviously we haven't really came out of pocket for we buy snacks and stuff, or we would buy snacks and stuff just because we wanted to, not because we had to, but God just provided. And I never thought that fund my heart meant for somebody else, but that's what drives my heart is stuff for other people. And I just say to do that. If you're looking to step out, just pray for God to use you. And if you ask for Him to fund your heart, just be ready.
He's gonna, floodgates are open if you're anointed to do it. You guys, the whole house is full of giveaways.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful thing. But I love that it's such a thing of you guys are stepping out and listening to God and walking on water. Like, don't look at the waves, just look at Him and show you the way to go. And a lot of people come to me with dreams, not me, but come to leadership with dreams and want to do something, have an idea. And I love that our church at Highlands, we say, yes, go through leadership training, try it out, see what God does, commit to a semester. If it grows, it grows. If not, okay, just test it out. But I love that y'all are it's such a big thing. It could operate on its own 501c3, but you've continued to keep it under a church leadership and church covering. And that honor, I think, is blessing you guys even more, just to trust that. And even just other ministries coinciding, the medical outreach team getting to be and then the other campuses, when you said y'all came from one campus to here, that wasn't that, you didn't allude to that, but it wasn't a bad thing. That was just, we are all working together. This was a and many campuses to see what's going on and be part of it. So I love the relationship. It's just a beautiful thing that you're just so humble to just say, okay, whatever God takes it's His thing, and it's going to be a beautiful story. So cool.
Because we have a lot of folks from Grandview that come, and then a lot of folks from Grants Mill that are starting to come. So that they're like a lot of different campuses all coming together. So it's really cool to see everybody kind of get together and do it.
We're all one church anyway,
Yeah.
so that's what I think is cool.
And it's really cool to see families get together, like with their kids, and be able to do it, because that's fun. It's fun for the kids to be able to hand stuff out, but it's also fun to be on the other side and watch, the adults getting stuff from these little kids that are like super excited to hand you something. And, you're seeing the adult side, you're watching them because you're behind the kids, and you're seeing these adults just this big, huge smile on their face because some kid's saying, "Have a good day. God loves you," like whatever. It's really cool.
And those kids that's gonna, like, for me, I was raised in kind of environments like that. Like, that's not normal. That's not abnormal to me. Like, somebody like, "Oh my gosh, you went to Africa when you were 8 and you blah, blah, were in the inner city." And it's like, and like, those kids are going to grow up and that's life. Like, that's not going to be, especially the controversial stuff we're going through these days and just all the hatred, like, for kids to just grow up and that's normal life. It's beautiful to be able to be raised in that.
Yeah.
It's cool. Y'all are like, I love that it's so multidimensional. Like, you're reaching out to these people, but it's a lot, like horizontal, vertical, every which way. It's reaching people. So
Yes.
It's not just a one-way thing, and that's something I'm a big fan of. Yeah. So anything else that you guys think based on this, that the world should know, that people should know? Anything that we need to know about Just People Project?
Well, I just had a thought. To me, when we go serve, you can actually see both sides of the table getting blessed. Like, you can see someone that might have been scared of someone homeless just open up. It's just like it's just like a flower blooming or something. I don't mean to sound like this or something, but I mean, it is. It's just like, yeah. But you can see the look on their face. They're like, well, this is not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
So you get to see this person that really didn't think they could do it, serving and loving on somebody, but then you get to see the other guy saying, well, this little guy or this person that might be a CEO or whatever is serving me, and you just get to see both sides of the table being blessed. And we get to see just this year through 3 serves. 3 people have given their life to the Lord.
Wow.
So we're expecting big things, and I would appreciate it if people would just keep us in your prayers, because I mean, this is a battle that we're in, and we like I said, we ultimately want them to have a relationship with Jesus, but there's all kinds of forces against them, mentally, physically. I mean, there's stuff constant pulling them away from their calling, just like there's something constantly pulling away us from our calling. I think that I really that I have the heart for them because I was so close to being out there, and to be honest, that's the reason why I communicate with them so well, is because I may not look it, but I'm pretty street. Like, I used to be street, but that's kind of the people that I hung around with, and I hate to see someone struggling when I know what it looks like on the other side. So I just want to ask everybody to be praying for these guys and praying for our ministry, and praying for these new leaders coming. I mean, there's big things coming up for the Just People Project, and we're just sitting back and letting God take the wheel. And I think as long as we do that, just like I say in our board meetings, if we just let God have control of it and we just sit back, it can't go wrong. I mean, as long as we're getting to bless folks, that's what we do. That's what our calling is. And if we had to bless 99 people to get to that one person, that's what we're going to do, no matter what. And we're just knocking them down one name at a time. So y'all, please be praying for us.
I love it. And I just,
Anything?
Yeah.
what you got,
He's
Nicole?
like, anything?
Anything?
You got anything to add?
No. Yeah, just praying for all involved on both sides, because it does get stressful sometimes, or I get stressed out. He's just kind of easygoing, fly by the seat of his pants, and I'm the one that's like, no, we gotta have it like this, we gotta have it done like this and this. It kind of freaks me out a little bit.
It works out.
But it all works out in the end. So, but just, praying for all parties involved on both sides of the table, because it is hard for us to go out and watch some of these people struggle and then have to turn around and go home. Like, we have a place to go. We have a warm house when it's cold outside. We have a dry place to go in and train in, and it's really hard sometimes when we have to pack our stuff up and go home, and there they are telling us bye and that they love us. So it gets kind of hard sometimes. But
and we do love them.
Yeah, we absolutely love every one of them. There's so many of them that have stories that are just incredible. And they're great people. They just have some issues, but we all have issues. Shoot.
Right. Oh my goodness. One time, some marriage counseling for after service. I love it. I just want to thank you guys, personally, because y'all have changed my life. I met y'all a couple years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. But it has brought back a lot of passion for me. You guys just, there's a lot going on, and just being part of this small group has changed me. I'm able to fall in love with people again, one by one, with their name, with their story. So thank you. And even Josh, my husband, he loves you guys. He just moved here when he met y'all, and that was a cool place for him to find himself and feel like he was making a difference. So thank y'all for that. I look up to you guys. I love how you follow God and love people with just that pure simplicity. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. We love y'all.
We love y'all. We love Joshy Poo.
Bless his heart. I'm gonna pray, but before I do, if people have questions or want to get involved, how should they get in touch with you?
Well, we have the homeless in Birmingham at gmail.com is our email. We have a Instagram called the Just People Project, and we have one, the homeless in Birmingham. And then we have Facebook, the Just People Project for the homeless in Birmingham. And it's a lot.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot. But,
okay.
But if you want to contact us that way, my number's on there. I'll be glad to talk to anybody, pray for anybody that's struggling with anything. If we can connect someone to Jesus or rehab or whatever, we will help them. Just tell them, or y'all just call them. You don't have to tell them, Tori. We can tell them right now.
Okay, got it.
Got it.
Okay, I'm going to pray.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus, so much for this time. Thank you for Chris and Nicole, God, and Colby and their family. I thank you for the dream that you've put in their heart and how it's yours, God. I thank you that it is such a pure thing. I thank you that they are submitted to you, and I just pray that you will anoint it now more than ever. Give them wisdom. Keep them at peace in their hearts, God. Just give them continued joy, be in their family, anything that they're facing as a family, God. I just pray that you are all up in it, Lord. Whatever challenges are coming, just make them aware, make them strong. Let them take your strength, God. We confess that we are weak and you are strong. I pray that you just continue to give them fresh eyes, God. Let them see you through the people, God. That it's never about them, but you just continue to anoint every encounter that they have, Lord Jesus. And all the people that are coming to them, sharing their dreams, sharing their resources, sharing needs. I just pray that it's a beautiful harmony, God, and that because of this ministry, heaven gets bigger. And we just thank you. We worship you. We thank you for what you're going to do. And I just thank you for letting me be part of something so cool. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Tori.
Yeah,
we love you. Thank you for reaching out to us when you did. It was at a great time. God knew what he was doing. And we are so blessed to be in a relationship with the Dream Center and to know all you guys. And
y'all are amazing.
We love y'all so much.
Ours, I promise. We gained a jewel and we got you guys. So.
See you right there.
Are you sure?
Shining like everything.
Thanks for taking off work for this. I hope y'all get to go eat some wasabi wands. Shout out wasabi wands.
Oh yeah, wasabi wands. Whoop, check it out.
You saying like 3 times a week now.
They're about to open one in Hoover.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know their contact info so we can.
Wasabi. Instagram wasabi wands.
Okay, with a J.
And they're in Avondale. Not in Hoover yet, but there will be. Okay.
And they're good.
And they're awesome.
They're Highlands members.
Yeah, they're Highlands members. So.
Okay. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you.
Love you too.
Wednesday. Wednesday? Come first Wednesday.
First Wednesday.